Yo, what's up? This is the Base 187. Welcome to the Babbling Heads Podcast.
I'm Dj Fingaz.
I'm Adrian Kearns.
Charlie X2C.
We. And just listening to the intro beat now, and I can't help but think with two of Cape Town's best turntablists in this actual room, is like, why is there no cats on that beat?
Actually, I was listening to Joe Budden's new intro, the one that Premier made. I was thinking of doing that. I'm probably gonna copy his. I'm gonna bite this shit. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bite it. I'm gonna do it now.
So, Easy, DJ Easy. Usually I'm on the other side of the desk, being interviewed by you and D, like whenever we're on the show. So yeah, we're not going to ask you the usual flim flam it comes up with on the radio.
Thank you.
No. This is like we, for those of you that might not know, Easy is like one of the pioneers in, second gen pioneers in the SA hip hop industry. So without any further ado, with regards to turntablism and DJing being one of the core 5 elements of hip hop, what is your prediction of the scene in the coming years? Is it dying out, and how do we preserve this integral part of one of the 5 elements of hip hop?
Sure. First of all, thank you guys for having me here. And I think, what's it now? October now? Yeah, so I turned 45 in August. So essentially, I would say I'm 3rd generation hip hop for South Africa. When I got introduced to it, there was already a scene, Shamil X, Razano, Blaze, Reddy D. And even that, my whole sort of introduction to it came through MCing, not DJing per se. Mm-hmm. And then obviously falling in love with the art. Or like you said, there's different elements. Before getting introduced to the scene or the Cape Town culture, I was actually, messing around because you watched Breakdance 1 or you watched, I'm Going to Get You Sucker, whatever movies came out and there were people breakdancing in it. Then rapping and then DJing. But now, 20-some years later, working with Reddy D, that was actually the main or the first time I saw a South African or a Cape Town or a colored bra, do his thing with 2 turntables and a mixer. Before that, I've only ever seen it on video. I don't think it's dying. It's the same like hip-hop music for me. If you think hip-hop is dying, you're listening to the wrong artists. Yeah. 2020, Benny Butcher, if you don't know who that is, then you're going to say hip-hop is dying. If you don't know, the new Black Thought album, again, hip-hop is not dying. Busta Rhymes just confirmed this week, Flip Mode recorded the 20th anniversary album.
Yeah.
So for me, hip-hop's not dying.
My bad.
It's all good. And the cool thing about that is the phone ringing. I don't care, man. If you can rock a party with 2 phones, do your thing, man. It's like, I'm not of that... the thought of I'm a purist, this is it's in its purest form. Of course, I believe in respect because when I was introduced to this, I was sort of recruited, if you want to call it that. A lot of people at the base automatically gave me respect because they thought I was Fat's brother and they were scared of Fat, I guess. You know what I mean?
He was a formidable force.
Yeah. So Fat was at the door and I was just coming there with him on a Saturday afternoon, which was like my thing. It wasn't even a beat. And I'll be honest, I wasn't at the base that often, but when I did go, it was because, what is this thing with this music, man? And I'll also be very honest, because this is like why I agreed to this podcast, because what separates you guys from the other Owens is that you guys say it out easement. So when people started handing out the whitewash or brainwash through white stuff, the magazine, the photocopy thing, I was like, okay, this is my cue to not come to this place anymore because now it's turning into a cult. And also I was very involved and rooted in the church. In fact, when I went to the base, I took artists from the church with me.
Oh, it's dope.
And they were exposed to hip hop, but it was like, let's go there. And I was almost like considered a form of a mentor to these artists. But I went through because I was a freelance journalist for the South newspaper. Okay. So I would get like in the 89, 90, 91 maybe, I think, yeah. So 200 rands a lot of money, for writing a story. And I think my first article that appeared or in print was Falco. So I met Falco, and that's sort of my story for hip-hop. Now, I'm not saying Falco's the first graffiti artist. I'm not saying he's the best. He's my bra. I was his best man. We brasa, so I'm going to be biased, obviously. Yeah. But that's my story.
Yeah.
if you have a cousin or auntie or uncle who graffitied, that's cool for you. I can't tell that story because I'm not part of that.
Yeah.
And my thinking around the stuff and coming back to the turntablism is, man, I'm not the authority of hip hop. Neither is Reddy D.
Yeah.
And he's probably the number one DJ on the planet for me because, you know, of his attitude, man. Because you can be a dope DJ and just be a whack bra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No personality.
No personality. Where D doesn't walk into a room and go, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Other people that don't have 10% of his skills are getting sampled by labels. They're getting free records every month, or they're getting free gear. And they've got, you know, all the latest equipment or whatever, where I salute that, but I respect him and I'm happy to work with him. You know, I'll tell you another funny story. When I started at the radio station for the first 3 months, I didn't invoice them.
So.
Not because I had money, I just forgot, and it was just like, it didn't matter because I wasn't doing
So
it for the
caught in the
money.
moment, yeah.
And my boss, who's now again my boss, he was like, we're not going to pay you unless you give us an invoice. And I was like, oh, I forgot. But I was having so much fun
yeah.
because it didn't make sense, man, that these people are paying me to hang out with the number one DJ in the country. You know what I mean? And
Jy
it's-
moet hulle sien. Ook jy het al gesien
Yeah.
in action. It's like there's a telepathic thingy going on. I had the privilege to actually work with you on his show.
Yes,
and
of
with
course.
him
Yes.
to be
When
your
I wasn't
stand-in.
there, yes.
Yeah. No, that was dope moments. That's actually the only thing I miss of not working with the SBC anymore. Yeah.
For real.
For real, dude. Now just working on D, just listening to chilling with D while the mix is playing, maybe chilling with D,
Have
just
a
having a
conversation.
conversation, just pick his brain on some things. Is, dude, I would like always like in the beginning I would like. Then these are lekker, but somehow there must be a dark side to you. Everybody has the dark
Jy moet
side.
ook iets uit nou en dan.
Yeah.
It's too good to be true.
Nee, dat is nogal
They,
niet.
remember
Dat is
that
Zen.
Kijk,
Yeah.
there isn't. So
With that question, with that being said, he's a grandmaster, all right? Deserves it all the way. Do you think that Cape Town will produce another grandmaster? And would, if yes or no, and who do you think will
Is there potential?
is a potential?
Sure, it's a nice question. I mean, I wish we didn't have social media, to be honest with you, because even when he was honored and the title was bestowed on him, it's not like he just decided to call himself that, you know. And again, I come from the train of thought or the school of thought in hip hop where you didn't say I'm MC so and so. You rap, that's it. And then other people were like, remember Taibara Shaquille, he's an MC. Or Taibara Nantal, he's a judge DJ. You didn't have to say I'm DJ so and so. And you know, you're not saying, it's like a woman, when a lady walks into a room, she doesn't say I'm a lady. She acts like a lady. Everybody knows, nah, don't try your luck here, this is a lady. So with the Grandmaster title, I think when you, and I mean, I've seen enough interviews to also know that this question comes up when I would go Steve, and I'm not his spokesperson or anything like that, but it's from a case or from a point where he's contributed to the culture and he's doing things. And again, Denzel Washington is still taking acting classes. Ronaldo and Messi are still practicing. They don't sleep Monday to Friday, and on Saturday they get a phone call. There's a game this afternoon. If they're not on TV playing, when you don't watch them play, they're practicing. If you came to the SABC, which you were there, D is practicing. And there are brass who are not, like again, anywhere close to where the bra is, who are just thinking they can just show up and rock a party. And again, I guess to a certain degree you can if you play the top 20 songs that everybody wants to hear, or you just have to go on your phone and look at TikTok videos and know what artists want to dance to. But again, that's not it, man. That's not why you become a DJ. You become a DJ first because you love music, and then you love sharing music with people. And then when it comes to the turntablism thing, so D's done all of that, man. And then besides him, again, like I said, DJing and rapping and producing, and now having a radio show for 10 years, it's what he's contributed to the culture. And this is before there were people taking selfies and saying, look at me, look at what we're doing, we are here, we are there. You know, so even with Shaquille in the room, it's like Emil has been consistent doing that. I know of high school ITs, when you meet them and they see you wearing a fitted cap or baggy jeans, and they make the association with hip-hop, they ask, do you know Black Noise? If you Google South African hip-hop, Black Noise comes up. If you think of school kids, you know, trying to get introduced to it. So another DJ with that title, I think it's going to be tough because, sure, if we're going to say that, I mean, you said it, not me, that rightfully he deserves that title, The only other thing I could say is if there was enough competition happening and people would be like, okay, the bro who wins this DJ competition is the grandmaster. That would be it. But in terms of like, because again, we don't have an authority. We don't have like, like a board of like, okay, this is the 17 for like the generals, like. It's at the year 17 back in the day.
The stars was just a line for that moment.
Yeah. And again, man, you can be, like I said, man, you dress for the job you want, man. So I think you must have a grandmaster attitude, man, or grandmaster headspace, where a lot of these writers
was silence, asseblief.
Don't have the accolades and the credentials. No? It's just hype.
It's hype, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the new S11 is jits, but it's not going to make you a better DJ.
No way. You don't know what you must do.
So.
Sorry for stepping in there. Just coming back to you, Easy. You were speaking about.
I like it when you talk about other people, man.
No. We were speaking about Lady Dina. I want to speak to you specifically about. You said something when you started. You brought some school, some church ladies. Is that linked to the fact that I mean hip hop generally has a lot of swear words and bad wording and stuff like that? But I know personally you stay clear of that. You normally don't take onto that music. Why is that stance specifically? And how do you avoid it? Because I mean, a set sometimes is very difficult.
No, it is,
especially if you're taking that stance.
It's difficult, and again, I feel in that sphere. Again, when I approach that angle. So I work at the SABC. I work for Good Hope. There's I think 2 or 3 Christian radio stations. When I say Christian, it's like they're not scared to say God or Jesus on their songs. One is registered, so to speak, as a Christian radio station. It's all about church people. And the other one is actually a community station. But predominantly, they also push that agenda. Excuse me. My gripe with that is I'm anti-bubbles and I'm anti-exclusivity, man, because automatically when you say that, you're excluding a certain community. And Cape Town is not a Christian city, as much as people want to say stuff like that. And I get into trouble for, obviously, speaking my mind about it a lot, because I was born into religion and then I became a Christian. I wasn't born a Christian. And that might be like, what are you talking about? Because for me, it's not a religious thing, man. So when I DJ, it's the same as you being a hairdresser. You're not a Christian hairdresser or a Christian mechanic. You know what I mean? Like you're a mechanic. You don't just work on Christian people's cars, or you're a hairdresser. You only do Christian people's hair. You're a hairdresser and you've got bills to pay and whatever. So when I decided to I became a Christian first and then I became a DJ. Because I understood the power of music. And in my house, because my brother worked at the record store, there was already a bunch of records, and it was just gospel records. And at the same time, the hip-hop and the mainstream R&B love songs was, I want to hold your hand, I want to take you on a date. It wasn't like, you're the best, you know what I mean? Or it's like, I've got the biggest this, so I'm looking for whatever. You know, I come from a school of thought, even when I got introduced to hip-hop, where it was, our sisters were called queensmen, not I'm a bad bee. You know, now it's like being exactly. Now being a hoe is they're celebrating it, and I'm like, what? And I'm uncomfortable about it because I can't go to a place and someone is saying, call this woman a bee, because my mother's a woman, man. Do you know what I mean? It didn't make sense for me. So. But again, it wasn't on some holier than thou or self-righteous soapbox that it's like I'm better than other people because I don't like that music. And again, doesn't matter how I feel that this hip-hop thing that I love is affecting the way I speak and how I dress, I understood that there was a place for it, man. And I always make the analogy that another friend shared with me a while back. And he was like, if you're going to a supermarket, man, some people are going there to buy alcohol. Some people are going there to buy medicine. Some people are buying... But if I'm going there, I'm not going to the aisle where they're selling tampons and pads because I don't need that, man. And I'm not going to the alcohol or to the counter where they're selling cigarettes because I don't smoke. I'm going there to get a cool drink. I'm going there to get a pie and I'm out of here. But I'm still in the supermarket. So in hip-hop, it's the same, man. The skinny jeans brasser and the brasser who's saying, shoot your mother, eat your dog. There's a space for them, whatever, you know what I mean?
Colour your teeth.
Brush your teeth with champagne or whatever. Those brass are there. And the sad thing is that writers gravitate towards it, but we know that's not what it is, man. Even the Owens on the yachts and the hired cars in the videos, that's not that brass kin, man. That's not his wife. That's a model that he's paying to play his wife in a song, and then you like losing your mind over it, man. And the same people in 2020 who's like, yo, man, I'm changing the game. And I'm like, man, bro, you're not changing the game because this videos has been around for 25 years. People have been putting BMs in videos for 30 years. So you putting your brass beamer in your video, you're not changing the game. And just because you're shooting it at the park in Mitchell's Plain or in Grassy Park or wherever, doesn't mean you're doing it for the community, man. Because the understanding about it is, so for me, what better vehicle than music, man, with this message that you were asking me, coming back to, let's call it music that was clean. Now, of course, I don't get it right, because 90% of the world, when they record, they're not thinking, there's going to be a brother wants to play this.
A radio edit.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But it's a good thing that there are people who are doing it, and I've gravitated and I've been fortunate to actually make friends with a lot of the people that produce that kind of music. Some of them want to be labeled Christian, some of them don't. Some of them aren't Christian, some of them don't go to church, but they just don't vibe with music that speaks, negative or breaking down people or whatever. And again, we have broadcasting complaints commission. So it doesn't make sense to play to record music with hate speech or, calling people. And if I think of Cape Town, Crowbars was the new thing. He has a line in his song that he says, ek smaak jou, whatever, ek is by mekaar met jou, en 'n bra wat vir jou sal los is gay. Now, 20 years ago, that line would be kind of okay, but people's been more aware of what they say. There's the GBV thing, there's also the inclusivity thing. So now, I challenged the people that work with him, and I was like, look here, this line probably won't sit well. Now, you could say, but we played after 9, so some auntie in Sea Point is not going to hear it, or some other auntie in, I don't know, Durbanville won't hear it. But that's not the point, man. Like, ek wil lekker slaap in die aand. So for me, it's like, I just said, it wasn't like my station manager or program manager heard the song and they said it. To be honest, and I mean, I don't think they're going to watch this podcast, but I don't think they've got the trained ear to hear some of the words in some of the rap songs, because you need to have an ear to hear some of it. But I was like, and I wasn't offended by the line, if I'm honest. I'm not offended by the line, but I just thought, do the right thing, because it's like, I don't like partiality, man. So so I choose to just play music like that. Sometimes I confront some of the wacker songs in terms of lyrics, have the best beats, man. I'm not a Little Wayne fan, but I don't know that. But I just because he's got money for days, so he can get the best beats from the best producers. And sometimes I wish. So sometimes when I like those songs, it's because I'm just like, I wish I made this beat, or I wish, Royce 5'9" rapped on here, or some other person rapped on here. So
just getting back to that thing that you said, the SABC, whatever, they don't have the ear for it. I think sometimes, just coming back to, I keep on cutting them on the podcast, but
I see. So now that's your thing.
But I think this time I'll come to the rest.
You're on your own. You're on your own.
I think they're busy with paperwork and stuff, man. So they're not listening to every single line, man. You know what I'm saying? So I think in that regard, when we did the music meeting, we would be more attentive, like, okay, guys, this is actually what it means. Or
I think it's a trained ear also to, like, if you're in the field, like you.
But the rap music is different. You listen to rap music differently.
Undertones.
On Monday, I had 3 different WhatsApp messages when the 6 mix, which is a 90s throwback mix again. And again, when you did, back in the day, you did the iMix.
The iMix 6.
So people who ran, you could WhatsApp you and say, Nantal, my cousin's got a song, can you play it? You can't, because this iMix wasn't for that. It wasn't a local mix. It was music that people wanted to hear. And again, that kind of, it's like when you go to the cinema, what drink are they advertising? They're advertising Coke. It's not the best drink. McDonald's is not the best food, but what do ladies want? Because they've figured out the gimmick to put a toy there and they call it a Happy Meal now. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing, man. People have been pushed this idea or this agenda that this is good or this is what people want. So the research is that, people want international music and they want club bangers or whatever. So you were playing that music, and I think you probably got in the firing line from that. And the same for me. I play a throwback mix, and I know that some people are, again, another 90s mix, but there are people who don't know the music. A lot of kids heard Vanilla Ice the first time when another person, ripped the beat off. And not knowing that Vanilla Ice actually ripped the beat off a Queen song. Do you know what I mean? A lot of kids found out who MOP was when they went to South Africa to do a beer commercial, and the song is also like, 25 years old. So I don't have a problem with that, because I grant the music, and again, it's very safe to play the 90s R&B because the lyrics is not just, I don't have to edit a lot of the stuff. But Aliyah has a song, I think it was Back Again, or it's Back Again. She says, funky melody. And 3 people on the same mix, 3 people said, we just heard a swear word in the mix. And then the presenter also said, I don't think it's a swear word, but because 3 people are saying it, maybe I need to go back and listen to it. And then I conferred with another person, and this person said, who's not into radio, said, you know what, I've heard the song a few times, and I always just assumed they're swearing in the song. So I agree with you. And again, I'm saying to you, it's like you get a rap person or a trained ear. At the same time, there's like big sin and little sin. Do you know what I mean? So the N word is a no-go, and the F word is a no-go. But America would play ass on radio.
That's the weirdest thing for me.
And in South Africa, certain stations play a song today. Jay-Z and Pharrell fronting. So they've got ass in the hook. So at some places you will hear it. And I mean, you can buy it from a legit site, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, or wherever sells music, and it'll say clean edit, and ass will still be in there. So, but it also again comes back to, man, like if you are a DJ or you're a selector or you're someone that really loves what you do, that you spend time with the music at home, you don't show up at the club and just play stuff randomly and they go, oh, I didn't know. I
want to jump back onto the thread before Adrian so lightly interrupted me. Pertaining to the Grandmaster status. Having hosted 2 of the DMC World DJ Championships qualifiers at the African Hip Hop Indaba, when you put the invitation out for all the purist turntablers to come out and actually compete for a chance to go and represent internationally, it's like the pool has shrunk immensely. Now I understand like there's the guys that now started off with the SLs, etc., and it's now progressed to the controllers, etc. We were just talking about the rain off air. But at the same time, technology is evolving. So yes, there can be the guys DJing with the phones, etc. As long as you have the mixing craft. I mean, back in '91, at Club Le Palace in Walvisbaai, after the POC tour, that's like, I need to get into this. And then like I went to the resident DJ and he said, "My bro, now you must learn how to count." Count the beats, count the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these days you have Serato, we've got your digital timelines, you can cue it up. Was like, what's the first thing, mixing thing have you used on the laptops?
Virtual DJ.
But no, I think there was one before Virtual DJ. But you could do like the magic mix and it like syncs everything together. So just coming back like to the point is like, DJing has evolved like in terms of technology as well as hardware and software to a point now where you can have your phone DJ, you can have your controller DJ, you can have your purist on the SLs with or without. Because like you must look at mark stickers now where you must go scratch over here. So now you've got your Rain, you've got the Serato, Tractor, etc. But yet when the opportunity presents itself for you to actually go out and become or be the possible next Grandmaster and like come up, step up to the plate, show your skills to a crowd of your peers, the guys don't step. So in that regard, do you see the Owens still have the hunger for it, or is it just like, nah, I'm just gonna try and get the next gig?
So here's the thing. Here's my take on it. Not the gospel, not the facts for every other DJ on the planet or in Cape Town. The only reason why I've never entered a DJ battle is because I've never been impressed with the prizes, to be honest with you. And I think you know me well enough from the time we've hung out, where I've actually, I worked in TV before I joined Good Hope. And we were producing this one TV show for a channel, and they came up with this idea of a DJ competition. And I was like, but why? What was the motivation? Because remember, I'm a DJ, so I'm touchy about this. I don't want to be part of a company that's having a DJ competition to give someone 2,000 and headphones. Because, no, doesn't work for me. And I was pushing. I was like, you know what? I will. Like, for me, it's like, what would I want? So I said, contact Ford. Tell them to give us the new. At the time, the car was called the Forester, I think. It was like an SUV looking thing. So I was like, okay, tell Ford to give us a Forester. And then get, like, at the time, the nicest looking club, or I think the safest club was probably Hanover Street at Grand West. So I was like, connect with Hanover Street. And then say, if you win this battle, you get this Ford. Your number plate's going to say DJ number 1 VP or number 1 DJ VP, and you get a residency at Hanover Street for like a year. Now, for me, that incentivizes it. And it might be a bit of like, but this is about the bling. But I'm like, it's expensive, man. Like, I take offense when you offer me 500 Rand to DJ. Because my headphone cable is 526. I just been to BC this week. The cable for my... I bought a decent set of headphones like 2 years ago, and I bought it secondhand because I couldn't afford the 3,000 Rand pay. I was at an open streets thing, and it was a Sunday. Cash Crusaders, no, the blue one. Converters is the maroon one. They were open, and I was going there for something else, and I saw this box that it looked like it was unwanted gift from someone. There was like no marks. And I was like, how much is this thing? And the brass said like 800 rand. And I'm like, do they know what this thing is? Because it's like a 3,000 headphone. I bought it right there on the spot. I've had it for just over like maybe 2 years. And the cable now got damaged. I went and I got a quote for a new cable. Because it's not just the jack to jack, it's got like a special fitting. 526 just for that cable.
Yeah.
Now you can say, yeah, but you don't have to get that. But I'm like, okay, man, I want to have a decent set of headphones for when I gig. And the pairs we use now, I can get 2 pairs for the same price of the cable.
Yeah.
You actually organize this on special.
No, but the thinking back to that is, so that's my take.
Yeah.
Another DJ's vibe could be the approach. And again, I've been here long enough to know, man. Like today, when we go to a b-boy event, when we see who the judges are, we decide who's going to win. We haven't even stepped into the venue. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? If it's a DJ battle, we know Kodak's is going to win. It's not Kodak's fault. He's practicing. If you don't practice, you can be mad and call him whatever. The judges aren't favoring Kodak's.
Just to interject there.
Yeah.
1 year Kodak's actually fucked up, and that's it. That Onky went and went on to.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying, man. It's like people's mindsets are.
Yeah.
So I can't answer for other DJs who in their bedrooms or on Facebook claim to be turntablist or battle DJs.
Yeah.
I've never put that title next to my name. I've never said I'm a turntablist or a battle DJ. I'm a party rocking DJ.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like I don't want to be Michael Jackson. I want to be Quincy Jones. I make more money rocking a party.
Yeah.
And because I have to work, man, if someone was paying me to be at home for 6 months. And I'll tell you, if you say to me now, check your easy, the next Indaba, our Battle of the Year DJ competition, we're giving away a Range Rover Super Sport.
You will be
My
practicing.
bro, I'm telling you now, I will take leave for 4 months. You will not see me in a venue.
Yeah.
I won't go to the movies. I won't be at the Spur. I won't even go to church. I'm telling you that now. I will be practicing.
Blasphemy!
I'll be watching church on TV. I'll be watching church on TV, and I'll be at home practicing because that's how you win. You don't win on the event day. You win from practicing, and that's why. So for me, it's just been like, I don't want to say it's not worth it. It was just like, I've got 2 hours on Tuesday and 3 hours on Friday. Kodak's has 6 hours a day. He's got 20,000 hours ahead of me, and he's entering. I'm not going to win. Now, that might be a cop-out, and Kodak's is a homie.
Yeah.
He's jits. And like you said, but again, amateurs practice till they get it right. Professionals practice till they can't get it wrong. Because practice doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. And for me, I don't have the luxury of practicing every single day. I make beats, I produce the radio show, I have a wife, I have family, I have this other job, and I do stuff with schools and whatever. And some of those things are actually a form of income. So if I don't have those things, then how, DJing is not paying the bills.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys are frustrated. A lot of guys have equipment in their rooms and they just want to DJ. And I've been to like little hole-in-the-walls pubs where there's a bra playing, and I'm like, my bro, who's this? No, it's this guy. His name is Andre. Where's he from now? He's just playing. Does he DJ? No, he's just here on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And what does he do? No, he works like wherever, Monday to Friday. Then he comes here after work. And this owner is happy to pay this brat 250 because
And a bar tab.
and a bar tab,
Yeah,
and his chommies can come in for free or whatever the case may be.
so familiar.
Because it's but again, man, we can knock it, but it works for this Andre brat because he doesn't have ambition, and it's not a bad thing. He doesn't want to be famous.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to compete with whoever.
He just enjoys it.
Klom Andres. Easy. Just to add to that, you were speaking about your various streams of income, and you do a lot of things. It's not just like, I'm not just a DJ. With COVID-19 also, I think it's shown itself that you need to firstly know your skill, but secondly have a big bag of tricks to get various sources of income. Do you think that specifically in Cape Town, our artists understand that? Because you see a lot of artists, they're the big thing now, and they only do one thing. They either an MC or they say DJ, and then no offense to you, Nantal.
Says the house DJ.
Yeah. No, but
So let me explain to you quickly. Cape Town, the top b-boys in the country don't have medical aid probably.
Yeah.
So if one of them get, God forbid, injured in a car accident, how are they going to earn money? We have dancers in the country, not just b-boys. Let's say dancers, maybe because b-boy is a bit too whatever. But let's say dancers. we consider them professional dancers. They've got some accolades and whatnot. At some point, man, you gotta you crawl, then you walk, and then you run. When you don't know, then you ask. And the same people who are doing it wrong, when we tell them they're doing it wrong, they're like, but no one's showing us. And then you have Heal the Hood, you have the people that I work with, you have other institutions who have workshops. Those very brasso who need it don't show up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, then they need transport.
Yeah.
But to get to their kin, they don't need transport. To get to the church, to get to the gig, to get to the club, to get to Canal Walk, they don't need transport. Now when it's investing into their career, now it's Shaquille's problem how they must get there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, it's just like, what do you want, man? You know, there are brasso who never made money before COVID. Who when COVID hit, my bro, you are man struggling. My bro, you were struggling last year. Before COVID, you weren't making money, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And again, even if there was no COVID, the club or the bar where you played at had a chance of burning down. Yeah. Or the bar owner could easily give the gig to his daughter's boyfriend for a bar tab, and then you without the gig because you made this your thing, man.
Yeah.
So I've decided, or I put myself in a position like a long time ago where I say no to gigs more than what I say yes to gigs. And that's not because I don't need the money. I don't want it to own me, man. And I don't have to DJ. I want to DJ. Do you know what I mean? So it's a case of like, if you phone me and you're like, hey, this and that and that, I'd rather play for free. And in fact, I play for free over the fact of playing. I won't play for $250. I'd rather play for free.
Yeah.
Or if I know, Kiki, your sister or your cousin works at a tire place, bro, I'm playing, just put tires on my car. Do you know what I mean? I come from that school. It's like, Kiki, you have a connection with this, I'll DJ. I've done people's weddings to like sort out stuff for me. I've done people's 21st birthdays because they've got a connection with A, B, and C. Yeah. So there's ways around it. But I decided a long time ago that this wasn't going to be my main hustle because of the idea that everybody's doing it, so to speak. So how I make money is not of DJing in a club on Long Street. I DJ at Uppercut because I like the party. I like the men's hosting the party. And it's not a knock to Uppercut. But when I get paid at Uppercut, it's not an amazing thing. And it's not an issue. I've done Uppercuts where I didn't take money. Or when I got there, and I'm not a member of Uppercut, I'm a fan, and I know the homies there. And I mean, I DJ as long as some of them, and longer as some of them who manage the event. But there's been places where times where I came, and the night was not a good night. And I would just take the knock with them. Now I could easily be like, no, bro, this is your event. Don't involve me, because when you make a profit, you don't share the profit with me. Why must I share? Why must I take the knock with you? But it's my understanding. But you know what's cool about that? In other opportunities where a sponsor came to them and we said, Kiki, here's money, they've been like, who's been a cobra, who's been a supporter throughout this move? It's easy. Easy, we got so-and-so coming. Are you interested? We can actually pay you a move or whatever. Do you know what I mean? The first time we had Ready D at Uppercut, there was load shedding. So people left before he could even do his set. And when the lights came on an hour later, half of the people went to other clubs. So it was sad that thing happened. And I mean, I was there that night. I'm trying to remember, was I on the ball? Yeah, I might have DJed on the same night. I can't even remember now. But there's institutions like that, man. And remember, I come from a school where we paid to be on stage. If there was a Portland's Carnival, I had to pay my girlfriend's daddy to take us. We didn't ask Portland's, how much are you paying us to come and rap there? Do you know what I mean? Now writers are dancing or rapping for 2 weeks and they want to be like, Hildo wants me to perform. I told him $2,000. My bro, who are you, man? Who are you, man? You did 3 park jams, and because Youngster was on the same bill where you performed, you now
not pulling that in.
You understand? But you don't know the 16-year-old youngster at the Good Hope Center. You don't know the 17-year-old youngster performing at Settlers High for free. You heard now that youngster gets so much money. And because he performed at the same club in Mitchell's Plain or Kensington where you performed, you now want the same money. Doesn't make sense.
Not a damn.
Do you know what I mean? So there are people that will say to you, and again, the promoters are to blame a lot of times. The promoter will say, Mad Fingaz. Is it Fingaz now or Mad Fingaz? Fingaz.
Just the if, man.
Okay. so they'll say, Fingaz, 50 Cent is coming to Cape Town, or the Fugees is coming to Cape Town. Can you play at 3 o'clock? Nantal's going to take the gig. By 5 o'clock, they tell everybody, okay, VIP room must be cleaned now. The Fugees are arriving. The Fugees are performing at 8:30. But I tell you, Sunday morning, Nantal's bio is updated, opened for the Fugees.
Of course.
The Fugees didn't book him. The Fugees don't know him. And even if he took a photo, his tag is saying chilling with the Fugees. You didn't chill with them, you took a photo with them. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But that's what social media does.
Hype, yeah.
It's all about the hype, man. And yeah, so for me, the thing about you saying the artist, understanding multiple streams of income, it's sad because it's not just, and as much as we've celebrated and kind of pedestaled breakdancing, graffiti, MCing, DJing, and of course knowledge of self, the DJ is cool, but without a website, no one knows who he is. The artist is dope, but without someone doing the artwork for his album or taking photos for him, which is why Ferenc is so integral in our scene.
Community,
He's not the now only photographer in the world, and there are people who copy his work, I know that, but he's the brother that's been there. Like for me, it's about that. But people always like get, touchy and feelings about like, I'm like, my bro, who else, man? Show me another brother's work. Show me a brother that's been there throughout. Because consistency is the thing. Yeah. Yep. So there's that. Then there's website design, like I said. There's artwork. I don't always want to drive. I wish I could afford a driver so I could respond to messages while I'm in the car. But I don't respond because I'm busy driving. Do you know what I mean? So there's so many other things you could do. But again, everybody wants to be the boss, man. Like you can't be the CEO of a company if you're the only one in the company, man. So don't update your Twitter bio. CEO of, and I'm like, maybe you're the only one there. Like, you know what I mean? But
I'm
that's
the boss of myself.
But that's what people do. It's all about, self-confidence is not what other people think, man. It's like, it doesn't matter what they think. Yeah. This is what I'm doing. So people think hustle is like, skarrel, man. It's not the same thing, man. For me, you must have a gedachte. There are writers like, this is a machine. I mean, it's called a machine, excuse the pun. But besides making beats for rappers, you could make beats for commercials. Yeah. You can get, a friend of mine just got a placement with ESPN in the States. And it's like decent money. I'm talking about like, they're not going to pay this brothers if he performs. Do you know what I mean? And I saw the letter because he shared it. He was like, hey, I just got this mail from this man, so they want the song. And this is the paycheck. And I'm like, my bro, I wish. You know what I mean? That's the thing. So,
check here. So you are entering the realm of podcast soon. Tell us, if you can, what your plans is and what you're doing in the meantime.
So 3 years ago, I've been having these conversations. Like obviously I DJ and I've tried to like diversify that in terms of like, am I a DJ that just plays other people's music? Because research has shown that the most successful DJs are the one who play their own music. So it's like Black Coffee, what's that other clown's name? Quetta. 28,000 US a night or some stupid salary. But besides that, the royalties also come to him because he just plays the music that he's made for Rihanna and Chris Brown and other people. So I was like, okay, cool, maybe I should delve in this. So before I just wanted to step out to be like, I made this song, I featured with other people. And I took like a role of like executive producer. So I did like cuts on a French artist album and then some rappers from Cape Town that I wanted to work with. I was like, okay, cool. If you're doing something, I'll throw you a bone, So none of those things were like money. One of the artists I worked with, the studio actually does digital distribution. So I was like, hey, I'm going to do these cuts for your artist. But when it comes to me releasing my own music, I don't want the invoice. And we did that kind of trade. So I did like 3 or 4 songs on iTunes. And in 2017, I met with this couple who was trying to start like a small business. It was like kind of iTunes set up like a platform for local artists. And they had like a bookshop. And they were into media or whatever. So we formed this little thing. And because my name is Easy, they felt I had a bigger profile than them. They're from Somerset West or Paul. And we started this night called Easy Does It, which is basically a creative session. So my first one I had at the Mercedes-Benz showroom. But it was also a case of like, what happens when you're in a different space, man? Because I'm from Bonteheuwel. And I know that I used to spend weekends in Mitchell's Plain. So when I come home, my story of the weekend was different from my brother in Bonteheuwel. Because all they saw was, my broers gezien, as ik by die pad sal het 'n braai gevind. You know what I mean? That was like the story at school. They found the body in the baths. Or, someone got stabbed at the shop or whatever. Now I'm in Mitchell's Plain. I'm like, we went to the soccer field, we went to Portland, we saw soccer, or we saw this in Mitchell's Plain. And then my dad takes me to Simonstown. So now my story changes on a Monday again. Or he takes me to Table Mountain or to Stellenbosch. So just seeing a different environment opened that up. So taking these creatives out of the normal, boardroom, conference center or whatever, taking them into a showroom where it's like 8 million rand cars, changed their thinking about a bit. And it wasn't business meeting. It was like creative arts. So I had graphic designer from Nike, Red Bull, a guy that did lots of work for Coachella, artwork. He was speaking. And then I had like a social media expert speak. Then I had a music producer / what do you call them? Distributor, I would say that. Owner of a label, him speak. Then I moved it to Unknown Union, and I had a guy who owns his own clothing label speak. Then I went to the business school at UCT Waterfront, and I had someone else speak who owns a leather business, and it's their story, man. So I basically just connected people. That was like my thing, because the couple that had the resources in terms of cameras, because I didn't own a camera, I didn't know how to approach it. So it was like we formed this thing together where I host the night, because it's like called Easy Does It. I have Nantal on as a guest, and he speaks. So I did that. And then obviously when COVID came, I couldn't have it. So I went online, like most DJs went streaming to DJ, and I was like, maybe man. I did it for a few times, and it was cool. And I'll be honest, I streamed on a Sunday, called it Easy Sunday. I think I made about $400 from playing, which is decent. So, but not on one stream, but from my PayPal account. So I had people sending me donations. Because I DJ, and I'm like, if you want to support this move, because it costs money to buy the stuff, which before COVID, I work at the SABC, that's my salary, so that's how I pay my bills.
Yes.
But when I DJ, that's how I support this thing. RCAs and headphones and hooters, that don't come from my salary, that comes from DJing.
Yeah.
Because if I can't pay it from DJing, then why am I DJing?
What's the point of doing it?
Know? And there's a joke where they say, man, we used to buy equipment to DJ. Now we DJ so we can buy equipment because the equipment is expensive. But Easy Does It. So the platform, I took it online because it's a small thing. Like normally in the room we have 25 to 30 people, but it's good. I'd rather have that you have the right people than 100 of the wrong people there. And it's networking. So I built an app with another company because there were people that was like, how expensive? And I'm like, no, it's exploded. So I did it for like a year. I'm like, okay, cool, I've done it. I've done that. What's the next thing that people are saying I can't do? I started the portabilism movement as well. And again, I do like all of that stuff. So now I've taken it online, and I've had Omega Watts on. I've had John Parker, who's like a family therapist, on. But the people that I've been sort of exposed to through this, they send me messages, and they'll be like, I'd like to know how to do A, B, and C. Like, now, I'll tell you on this podcast, I don't know when you're going to push this out, but I've started another business inside of this, which is like my own coffee brand. Sweet. And I know nothing about it. And I mean, I went to the roastery, and I basically figured out, okay, cool, this is the blend I want. And I don't want to have like strawberry flavored coffee because only certain people don't want it. I wanted something that tastes a certain way. And I like a lot of sugar in my coffee, but I don't want people to put sugar in coffee because coffee experts will tell you you're messing up the coffee by adding sugar. So I did that, and it's part of this whole podcasting is how to start a business, because people are like, it's difficult. You saying start a business, you saying blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, let me not just tell people how to do it, because how I got into the UCT School of Business setup was I challenged the lecturers there, and I went to meet with the social worker, and she said, this brother's Adrian, he's the lecturer for business. I'm like, what business does he own? No, he doesn't own a business. And this brother, now he's a 48-year-old or 58-year-old white man from wherever. He's prof. A business lecturer. Yeah, prof. What business does he own? No, he doesn't own a business. So I'm like, nah, man. Marvin Levender is a businessman. This man, do you know what I mean? This man sold his car, moved back to his parents' house. That's a businessman. Dude, this man didn't know where his money is going to come from next month. Do you understand? So for me, I say, look at these are the stories these writers must hear, because the students are, I don't want to say less fortunate or underprivileged or whatever. These students are people that are there on scholarships. So the course is like 26K. You write a motivational letter, you send it. I don't know if Raymond Ackerman himself reads it, but he's the main funder. But essentially, they subsidize the course by like 80-90%. So you only end up paying 2,000 Rand for that course, and then you do the course. And there's a 6-month course, there's a 2-year course. So I basically guest lectured at some of those sessions from a kind of a more creative arts perspective, not a business thing. And obviously moving into an area where you don't have a building and rent and security and overheads, and you're just working from your mommy's house or your own joint or whatever. So now with the Easy Does It thing, because I'm a DJ, obviously I don't just want boring people to talk about business. Because that's the thing, man. Like, you just want to do art. You just want to rap or DJ or do skateboarding. You don't want to learn about admin and balancing books.
Business plans.
And I'll tell you, I dodged before 2008. I was like, tax, no, manito for them. You know what I mean? We used to throw stones at the yoga truck. So why must we pay taxes? You know, because again, we were stupid, man, but we followed the mob. The mob was like, yeah, the white man's this and the white. Yeah, so so I was anti the tax, man. And then it was like, oh, maybe you can go to jail for this now. Papa, wacht for you. I was like, nah, let me fix this. So now I'm happy to say, I pay tax and I get lots of tax back. You know what I mean? Like last year I was in the States when I got my tax and I bought that Newmark mixer, literally from my tax money. And I was like, nah, it did. So it's just kind of like, not just, the phrase is giving people the keys, man. It's just connecting with people. So I'm taking it online, or I have now. I've done like 4 online. I've got one on Monday night with DJ Switch. We had one a few days ago. And to be honest, it was just me and my brother talking on Instagram. But the people in the comments were like, what? And I'll tell you, I don't know if it's public knowledge for you guys, but Switch has like worked with everybody. Reason, Questa, ProKid, Proverb, Casper Novice, Nasty C, Youngster more than once. He hasn't paid any of those people for those features.
Sure.
Not once. Which is exactly. So like when you watch it, you're like, what? What? But then again, at home watching it as a producer or DJ, do you go, my bro, I must message all these men on Facebook now and say I want to do a song? No. It's about the relationship. It's about those people trusting, oh, it's with this guy. But if you like, reckless on social media, some people are not going to respond to you. Like, don't talk at me, man. Talk to me. Don't tag me at DJ Easy. Like when you make a new song, everyone's making songs. I make songs. Do you know what I mean? But people do that. Yo, DJ Easy. Like people WhatsApp the radio station and say, play my song. They send the song, then they say, hi, Ready D, can you play this? And also tell the people I need sponsorship. Like
Lord of mercy.
People do that. Or they inbox, Ready D, my name is whatever, here's my song. Music is life. I won't disappoint you. Cape Town needs to hear my music. I just need it. Now it's almost like that whole guilt vibe, man. Cape Town needs to hear this, and you must help me, man. It's like it's on you.
Play in your heartstrings.
Yeah, it's like you can do it. It's like I promise you won't be disappointed. Cape Town needs to hear this. All I need, man, is a chance from you.
Yeah.
No, you don't. All you need to do is work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I watched this other rapper that I'm not a fan of rap-wise, 21 Savage. You know him?
Yeah.
He said in an interview the other day, they're like, yo, but, some of these rappers talking about, they were selling stuff on the street before they now made money. Now they're making real money. They used to shoot guns illegally. Now they make money. Now they go to the range now. Because they're like official now. You know what I mean? And he was like, how does this hustle story work? And he's like, no, if it doesn't work, go get a job. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, no, go get a job. Not everybody must rap.
Exactly.
Because I'm rapping and I'm making money doesn't mean you must rap and it's going to make you money, man.
Yeah.
But fine, if you like rapping, maybe it's something else you must do in there.
In
that same vibe, yeah. So yeah, but coming back to Easy Does It, I think it's at that place where I think I need to take it more. And on Instagram, it's limited. It's just me and one other person. I don't know if you can have more than one person on the screen. Facebook has got this thing called Create a Room, which is like an inbox of you and other men, so which is like a video. Or it's like competition for Zoom, I guess, which we could do, but then it's also like people must then join and blah, blah, blah. With Instagram, I'll make a flyer and I say, Monday, 7 o'clock, me and Adrian's going to talk. Come check it out. And then obviously you can ask questions in the comments, because now Adrian's got a following that I don't have, and vice versa. My friends are learning who Adrian is. Adrian's homies are getting exposed, because in July we did this GCAP fundraiser. We were raising money to get masks and food. So for me, some of my guests, I explained to them that all we need, man, like if you don't have money, I'm not going to ask you money, even if you do have, but I understand everybody was struggling. So some of the people that I know, and let's call them famous people, or people that have like 100,000 followers, I'm not in their DM saying, please give us money or support us. It's kind of like put the spotlight on our cause, because there is someone in your circle who's got money and is looking to donate somewhere and just don't know who to trust. But you're vouching for me. Like if someone says, Nantal asked him, I'll be like, no, Nantal's a good, but I know he's not going to steal the money. So it's that vibe. So yeah, so Switch is my next guest on Monday. And then when I saw this year, Speech from Arrested Development is probably my biggest guest.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
So
that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, and we met 3 years ago, and we kind of like back and forth now and then. He's done some drops. I don't know if you heard some of the drops on Good Hope, always sharing the music, and I've kind of like always just been putting him in touch with what's happening here. And coincidentally, out of like 3 of the gigs I've done, or the streams I've done in COVID, I played Arrested Development song, man, but not even thinking, maybe Bruce Speech might be watching. There's this number in. It wasn't even that. The one time I sent him a clip, it wasn't even the original version. It was like some edit that someone on Bandcamp did. But obviously he still appreciated it. But the biggest one, or the one that was nicest to him that I didn't even show him, was when Scratch Bastard was here. I played after him, and I played the song. And obviously the video went sort of, I don't want to say viral, but people saw the video and he was like, yo, I appreciate the love. And it was kind of like from a vibe, if there's ever something I can do for you. So it was like, cool, tell people about GCAP, which is this thing. It's not like, oh, make a song for me or do something for me. It's like, throw the thing here, man. And then let's see what we can do. And then it was like, cool. And then with me doing Easy Does It on Instagram, it was like, we should maybe talk about you being my guest one time. And he was like, sure, let's make it happen. And again, even though we're friends, it wasn't like, okay, cool, I'll see you on Monday. I had to email the manager at vagabond.com and do it properly. Like, send an email, the manager goes back, what's the dates? I go back, I say A, B, and C, and then we agree. And I don't go, okay, I'll steal a photo from Facebook. I say, send me a photo. So for me, man, like the whole thing with the DJing, with the artist or whatever, there is a right way of doing stuff, man. And it's so much more rewarding, man, when you do it properly and when you do it without saying, you know, at this, I don't have a problem with crediting people that help me. But I can say, besides now Mr. Fat being like sort of my bodyguard, my Buddha at the base, and besides, you know, because again, my story into getting into hip-hop in terms of Cape Town, because I've always loved the music, you know, shout out to Blomi or Sinus in Pontivuk who like put me on, and Arnold who gave me music, but how I met Reddy D and the Prophets of the City was from a competition that I won. So I met them, and I was never at the base before that. I met them and was like, this is this brasser, this is the first brasser who recorded the album, this brasser rap. And they look like us, man. Because, you know what I mean, when you open Time magazine or Rap Pages, the means they don't look like humans, man. You know what I mean? When you go watch a movie and they're showing the Peter Stuyvesant advert, but I don't look like you. So it's like, you know, that's like the thing. But when you see the people that look like you doing quite stuff, man, that kind of motivates you. And I guess for black kids, 12 years ago when Obama became president, it's like, we can do it, man.
Excellent. Finally a black president.
I commend you, Easy. Like I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, this man like really looks at it from a very like the complexness to it, man. It's not just a case of I want to be an artist. There's complexity, but intelligent complexity. Can I say this because I like the way you speak about. It doesn't necessarily have to be Shaquille giving me money. But I can actually have this network or partnering. I think it's something that I might need, or not even now. Like I can hear that conversation.
There's future.
You need
that's
to
always been the move. Look, for me, rest in peace to my dad. My dad taught me a few good lessons, and I'll share one of it with you as dudes. When a man owes you money, phone his wife. You get your money.
That's valid.
Okay, I'm telling you now, if Nantal owes me money and he's dodging me, if I send this Mochi SMS, hi, it's easy. I'm trying to reach Nantal. He borrowed 800 rand from me. I just don't know when I'm getting it back. Trust me, I'll get my money back. Because you don't want your Mochi telling you, why is Easy SMSing me? You know what I mean? Exactly. So that's the one thing. But the other thing, my dad used to say, and again, I mean, we don't want to be too preachy, but it's from the Bible. My dad used to say, treat others how you'd like to be treated. So for me, man, look here, there are people that can help you, and they probably won't. No, that's the bad news. Do you know what the good news is? Those people on God. Do you know what I mean? So for me, what's meant for me is gonna come to me. You cannot do what you want to. It's not meant for you, man. It's coming to me. And what's meant for you is meant for you. I am too busy, trying to get this done to focus on what you're doing. Like yesterday, everybody was Nasuma a marriage counselor. Everybody was Nasuma a social media expert. You know, on Wednesday, no one had data for Nigeria. No one knew how to use a phone. They're all African. Everybody's African. You know,
but nobody comments.
But it's like for us, when I'm dope, then I'm a Cape Town DJ did this amazing work. But when I'm sleeping around, colored DJ from Cape Town. I'm colored when I'm doing bad stuff. When I'm doing great stuff, then I'm South African. And it's the same thing yesterday. It's like people don't even have the facts. And they just want to say, people are going to say something. I promise you. And it's a funny meme I saw. If Jesus was here now and he walked on water, people would say it's because this brother can't swim. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
High salt content.
No, for real.
For real.
People are not prepared to give you props, man.
Yeah.
People are just not going to give you props.
Yeah.
And I don't want props. I want property, man.
Yeah,
So Malita, for you, keep your... Okay, I promise you, no, and I know this is being recorded, you can actually keep this hip-hop thing. I don't want it. I don't want ownership of it. I don't want to say I'm the best in it. I don't want to say I've been here the longest. I don't know everything. But I do know more than a lot of people. And the people that want to learn, that's the ones I want to talk to. And the people that want to work, that's the one I want to work to. That's why the school kids, I gravitate towards that. Not because it gives me a form of superiority. It's like, as a child, man, it's just a thing.
Yeah,
it's just like your nature is just like, huh? Like, what? How? My nephew is 2. Tomorrow he's actually turning... Not tomorrow, next week he's turning 2. It's just amazing how in a space of 2 weeks when I don't see him, how he learns something. Like today, this will be my car keys. Next week, then it's like, I could tease his keys. Because last week he learned a new thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this is my phone. And then maybe his mommy's phone is like white or whatever. And then you look at that face, like mommy's phone. And I'm like, because that's how a child learns. But we walk around with this heads like we know everything. Now you're never going to learn something new if your attitude is which is the thing with the Yielderhood workshops.
Yeah.
Why must I come to Shakil's workshop? What's he going to face me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really know it all.
In New York, there's B-boys that have workshops. The other B-boys are like world champions. They attend, they support. My wife went to a class last year. You know Omarian from B2K?
Yeah.
He attended the class, man. Like I saw his brother in the queue and I was like, that's Omarian's brother. Not knowing that he's in the class already. So his brother was signing up for a class later. My wife came in. I obviously didn't do the class. I just went there and Buddha Stretch, who was teaching, he's a friend of mine now. So I walked, he saw me and he was giving me like the tour of the studio, man. My wife was now still standing in the queue waiting with her bag to sign in or whatever. I came out and I got excited. I was like, yo, babe, do you know who's in the class? She's like, I said, Omarian. I'm not a fan of his music. But you know what I'm a fan of? The fact that this brother's approaching life as a student. Because he is an A-list celebrity. He's done videos. He pays dancers in his videos. But he's showing up. And it wasn't like this is one of the best studios in the world. It was like a little studio in Brooklyn. But he showed up because he knew who was teaching and he wanted to take a class. So you never do just to learn, man. You never do
Always a student.
Always a student. Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool. Are we gonna?
Yeah. So means check out the upcoming Easy Does It shows that's going to be happening on Instagram. I mean, going forward in perpetuity, because we're not going to say we're not saying check next week someone out, but there's some very some very good gems that will be dropping, and it would be a miss of you not to take this opportunity to learn a bit more. I mean, you can never have too much knowledge. So yeah, thanks so much.
DJ Fingaz.
Adrian Kearns.
X2C.
So, yeah.
DJ Easy.
Thanks.
The
Awesome.
Base 27. Peace out.
Yo.
The Babbling Heads Podcast.